this time, I want to kind of go over the history of where the museum, when it was founded and where it's gone to in the last 32 years. And if many of you remember, the first museum was in the old Catholic Church, St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church. And soon after that, in 2000, we expanded 4,000 square feet to enlarge and encompass the exhibits that we had at that time. And in 2004, we had another expansion of another 1,000 square feet. And soon after that, the Faulkner Garden was added with, through a great deal of sweat equity by a lot of people that got out there and dug and got the Faulkner Garden started. And especially I want to recognize the New Orleans Garden Club for what they've done in the Faulkner Garden, not only with their sweat equity, but also with their fundraisers, to enhance it, so we could be able to, bring a first-rate garden. And in 2016 is when we started the new 6,000 square foot expansion, which was completed in a couple of years. And also during that time, we acquired the Art House building, Tackett's Barbecue, and where the crossing on the green is over there, which is the old railroad trestle, which was over here on Main Street. Soon after that, we purchased the birthplace of William Faulkner, not the house, but the man's where the Faulkner birthplace was. And we renovated it into I'll have to say it's a first-class B&B. And y'all got your mama-in-laws that come to town, you don't want to stay in your house, you put them up over there. She won't be disappointed, you won't either. And a couple of years ago, I guess it's probably about 2021, we purchased where the old New Army grocery company was, and we got kicking around some things for future plans for it. And that kind of brings us up to date with where we are. But like I said, the emphasis today, I think, is on sports. Union County has a rich history of sports figures and teams, etc. We all know about the great basketball tradition of Union County. But it was, bringing us up to date, this year, how it continues. We got, want to bring out, a few things that were done this year, or accomplishments that were done in sports that were pretty remarkable. Starting with the East Union baseball team and ladies fast pitch softball team, which won the state championship. There was an 8th grade girl named Lucy Cochran who missed 2A softball. She's an 8th grader, and for an 8th grader, and she's a fast pitch pitcher, and to have won the state championship and get selected as Miss 2A softball, quite an accomplishment. And then Mr. 2A softball was, baseball was Rhett Johnson. But also on that team was a young man that's a sophomore by the name of Landon Harmon. And Landon Harmon threw a perfect game in the state final. That's remarkable. If Eli was here, he called one like that. But it's, nobody got on base. He struck out, I forget how many. But, he needs to be, these kids from East Union need to be recognized for what they did. Also, the tennis team won the 13th state championship this year, which is the most state championships of any sport in Union County history. And also, something that they did, I would say is probably historic, is when they won the state championship against Stone County, they won all 7 courts. Susan, would that be fair to say that that's never been done before? All 7 courts? She said never. I mean, that's everybody winning their individual events in the state championship. There's a lot of, we mentioned Smold. There's one guy, some of you heard me talk about it, grew up on Cleveland Street. His name was Johnny Grace. And Johnny played high school football, baseball, basketball here in New Orleans. Went to war, came back, went to Mississippi State in 1948. He was the SEC batting champion. And after he got out of college, he was a Southeastern Conference football official for 25 years. During those 25 years, he had the opportunity to be selected to be one of the referees in the national championship game, one of which was the 1976 championship game between Ohio State and Clemson. And if any of y'all can remember, that was the game that Woody Hayes slugged the boy from Clemson on the sideline after he intercepted the pass that sealed the victory for Clemson. Well, Johnny was the official on that side who has the honor of throwing Woody Hayes out of that ball game. So, New Orleans has been well represented in a lot of different areas. At this time, I want to recognize B&A Bank for their contribution in sponsoring the sporting exhibit that we're having. We appreciate it, Bo, Mike, and the directors coming forward and doing that for us. And of course, it's all of y'all that made contributions in one way or the other to the museum. And without y'all's contributions, sweat equity, whatever, you use your talents, etc., the museum wouldn't be what it is right now. And I'll tell you this, I was at the first thing, I was at the function one night. A gentleman came up to me, wanted to know who I was. I said, I'm Jim Henson. I was a buddy of mine was right there. I played golf with him a little bit. It was, some of y'all may know him, Mickey Holland was the Tupelo. He told me who he was. He said, where are you from, Mr. Henson? I said, I'm from New Orleans. He said, oh my goodness. He said, New Orleans. He said, that guy's got the greatest small museum in the country. So, and Mickey told me, he said, you just made his day. He said, he's the president of the museum. I said, it did. But you know, that's what people outside think about the museum and what's going to accomplish here in Union County.
There's always a lot of people who have helped the museum in particular ways that we want to recognize. So we invented the Golden Hammer Award, I don't know, it's been a long time ago, probably back in about 2006 or 7. So the Order of the Golden Hammer has many sterling members in it. And today we're going to add a couple more. As I said, this order recognizes people who have made a significant difference to the society and the museum in a lot of different ways and help us further our mission. With the hammer being the symbol of building and capacity building and a lot more, there's a lot of people who help us on a daily basis, but one of the recipients this year has been affiliated with the society for many years, has been a willing and generous supporter, and he helps in many capacities of time and effort. One of the big projects we undertook this year was the refurbishing of Tackett's Barbecue. It's located on the museum campus, and some of you may recall Yale Tackett, known as the Barbecue King of New Albany. And he was actually the barbecue extraordinaire, one writer called him. One location for Tackett was East Bankhead, and he later moved to Glenfield. And his last location was the brick building on the museum campus built about 1970. There's an interesting account of the Barbecue King written by a New Albany man. He describes Tackett as a broadly grinning, red-faced man with wavy hair in splendid disarray. That's Henry Brandon. He wrote an article about Tackett, and he says, "It's very interesting to me in this age when barbecue competitions proliferate with every Tom, Dick, and Harry who has a secret sauce that is guaranteed to make his barbecue the best, that Tackett's barbecue was not unique because of the special sauce, but rather the product of the cooking itself. His searing hot fire of green smoldering hickory logs, meat cooked for hours, so thoroughly that it literally fell from the bone," said Brandon. "If there's one barbecuer in the great hereafter, I know Tackett is doing a land office business." So we thank the late Henry Brandon for that memorable description. And the person who has been the impetus for the restoration of Tackett's barbecue is Dry Creek. A project like the barbecue restoration, we scratch our head and think, well, what do we got to do next? And it takes a village to make that happen. And this person goes quietly about the business of getting things done, and has been a big part in the barbecue project that we greatly appreciate the effort of Kenny Owen. Kenny, could you please come forward? For your office. With our current focus on the sporting life of Union County, it's reasonable that we find a speaker who is strong in the sports scene. Not all sports people are on the courts. Some are behind the microphone and keyboards, and that's the case for today's speaker, who is known by many as Spirit Ben. Today's speaker is a Union County native that most of you know. He has had career stops in Fox Sports, USA Today, the Clarion Ledger, the Daily Journal, and Big Sports. He is a lead recruiting and analyst with breaking news reporter for The Spirit. He hosted on this podcast twice weekly, Talk of Champions, Spirit Ben, and he has a very large following. He and his wife Emily have daughters Gracie and Riley. He is the son of Kathy and Mark Garrett of New Albany. And he said of his mother's advice to him today was, "Please be nice." Please welcome Big Garrett.
He didn't say be nice. He said don't say any bad words. Golly, that was awesome, wasn't it? That was awesome. Good Lord. Oh, man. Thank you for having me, but I had no idea, Mom. Where's my mom at? Hey, Mom. I had no idea that this is what I was signing up for when you asked me to speak at your little museum group. God, looking like 100 people out here. Do we have any state fans? State fans? Yeah, don't be shy. If you're shy, it's going to be torture for all of us. You state fans? All right, good. Y'all are going to hate this, all right? So if you got a complaint, Kathy Garrett's right there, all right? Right over there. She set it all up. It's her fault. Really undersold this, though, Ma. I figured it was kind of like your Bunko group, maybe. But instead of cards or whatever y'all do at Bunko, you're sitting around sipping tea and talking about how William Faulkner used to eat his dough burgers at Latham's, you know, something like that, something crazy like that. But no, I'm here because you rolled the dice on your most inappropriate son with an open mic. You really thought this one through, Mom. God. Most of these people have watched me grow up. I mean, there you are, Mike. Oh, this is crazy to me. Or remember me getting kicked out of Union County High School basketball gyms as a card-carrying, Miss Thompson knows, founding member of the original FRA. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Daniel gets it. Daniel gets it. And I'm not talking about the front row athletes y'all have over there at WP Daniel now. No. We were the true FRA. Yeah, and where's Ellen Buchanan? She can back me up on it. Tell him, Ellen. Tell him. You all be basketball legend, Ellen Buchanan. She wasn't in the video, but she should have been. She's awesome. Yeah, she can back me up too. Her showdown with Armini Price, who y'all saw playing for the Chicago Sky, in the 2003 Union County tournament. Legendary. Absolutely legendary. It was like our own little rumble in the jungle in Union County, you know? Except it was Ingomar parents in Ingomar kicking us out because we weren't classy. Because we had shirts that said friends don't let friends go to county schools. Martin Cawthorn came up with it, you know. It was an old state shirt about Ole Miss, but we ripped it, all right? But you don't have to worry, Mom. I'm cute classy. I'm cute buttoned up. I'm sorry I didn't wear pants. That's kind of on you, you know. I roll out of bed and I'm at the office. I intentionally don't own a suit. Give me the Ben Garrett uniform. Pull over, shorts, flip-flops, and Matthew knows, backwards hats. Yeah. It's like a security blanket, you know? But I'm excited to be here. Even had a story written about me in the Gazette above the fold. Crazy. How cool is that for real, though? Hon. 10-year-old Ben is super pumped right now, you know? I genuinely appreciate y'all having me. And for Lynn West wasting some column inches on me, a self-proclaimed absolute idiot of all people. Just how desperate were you, Miss Jill? How desperate were you? I had to be like 11th on the call sheet. Mike Staten turn you down twice? Paid in full no-show you? Where's Whit Spencer? Hey, buddy. There's Whit. That's an all-American New Albanian right there. Here's a story about Whit. He played fullback and cornerback in high school, right? You know how crazy that is? How to be fast enough to play corner, but also mean enough to play fullback? God. My best friend in the world. No matter where we go, who we see, I swear everybody likes him. It's infuriating. Then there's me. I'm just hoping to get through a day without a State fan stealing my cell phone number and posting it on Craigslist. And that's not even a joke. They did that. I received a call at 6 a.m. in the morning, you know? Some guy asking me about my prize show goats. No idea what he's talking about. But Whit, he's like Wonder Bread. Yeah, that's what you're going to remember from this speech. Whit's like Wonder Bread, all right? Who hates Wonder Bread, Whit? Nobody. Nobody, that's who. Only like the most miserable people on earth. Mississippi State fans. All right? But everybody gets on with Wonder Bread, you know? At least partially. It goes with everything. Bologna, turkey and cheese, peanut butter and jelly. Whit Spencer is Wonder Bread. And you know what that means. He should totally run for mayor. Yep. Put it out there. Don't throw it back. Start it right now. You hear it. Jill emailed me about this nearly a month ago. And she asked me what I was going to talk about. And I obviously did the grown-up, mature thing. And I never responded. And that's all on me, Miss Jill. Honestly, I was kind of maybe waiting to see if, like, John Stroud would let me off the hook, you know, finally told you yes, so you can let me off the hook here. But no, apparently Rick Cleveland was the first choice, right? Right? Yeah.
You weren't supposed to tell
Hey, living legend is Rick Cleveland. Love that guy, one of the greatest sports columnists in the history of this state. Will absolutely obliterate any single one of you at a ping pong table, too. This is true. We were both covering Ole Miss in the 2009 Cotton Bowl in Dallas. The Cotton Bowl held what they called the Media Olympics in this swanky media hotel that they put us up in. I think they had like Wii bowling and ping pong bowling. I was one cocky table tennis player. Got it from my dad. And when I say I was riding an ego high, oh man, I had a new 32-inch flat screen TV just in my grasp, and then Rick Cleveland stepped up, all right? Paddle in his right hand, whiskey sour in his left, looking like Steffi Graf and not spilling a drop, whipped my tail. Bloodbath. So he would have been great up here. John Stroud, too. Unfortunately, you had to settle for me. Where is John, by the way? Is John here? Where's John? No, John's not here? Of course, that All-American gets to skip out. That's an Ole Miss sports legend, a New Albany legend, an NBA draft pick, one of the greatest Ole Miss Rebels of all time. His jersey is hanging from the rafters at Ole Miss. They couldn't show up here for me. Golly. Rick would have been great. But my whole thing is this. Officially, I'm a writer, podcaster for the Ole Miss Spirit, an affiliate of On3. But usually that just confuses people. The simplest answer is I'm a storyteller. Because to this day, what I still get asked the most, almost daily, including by my mother like 2 weeks ago, is what I actually do for a living. I tell stories. I play an Ole Miss character online. My job is to know the answer when Ray Collins stops me at Tallahatchie Gourmet, because he wants to know who Ole Miss's starting quarterback is going to be. Which, okay, it's totally going to be Jackson Dart. Where are my Ole Miss fans at? Parks is there, you know. You wanted to know this, Parks. I know you did. You know, Spencer Sanders transferred from Oklahoma State. Talking to you, Parks, you know. Really came on at the end of spring, had the hurt shoulder. There's no real concern, but he almost transferred out, but he's here. He's going to compete, and that's good. Because what about that transfer class, huh? Anybody? Thanks, Daniel. He helped me out. Jackson Dart's going to be the starter. Because here's the thing about Ole Miss last year. As Ole Miss got worse, Jackson Dart got better. We lost 5-6. He averaged 288 all-purpose yards per game over that stretch. And yeah, there's added competition. But he's got more weapons than he's ever had before. I'm telling you guys, Ole Miss has really rediscovered the middle of the field with his transfer class. Don't get me started on Quinshon Judkins. True three-down back, set a new single-season Ole Miss rushing record last season as a true freshman. Sleeper Heisman candidate. Write it down. Does this make sense to any of y'all? Probably not. And that's what I do. Just imagine the new running lanes available to him because of the spacing created from deft personnel decisions in the NCAA transfer portal. That sounds like a mad lib, doesn't it, Miss Jill? Yeah. All I'm saying is Dart's got weapons now. And it doesn't even matter who's under center. All are capable. There's no excuse. The talent's there. And I know the schedule's brutal. I got Ole Miss going 9-3. I've somehow talked myself into it. But please, 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 just don't lose to Hugh Freeze and Auburn. I don't have the energy anymore. I don't. I can't with another Sunday morning text from the guy whining because I called him names on Twitter. I probably went too far though, you know. An Ole Miss fan asked me who Freeze would be. This was online, just a day in life. Asked me who would Hugh Freeze be if he was a cartoon character. And I said Goofy, but if Goofy was a door-to-door Bible salesman. And I didn't think it was that bad. I'm not the one that got whipped by Florida, but I got a call the next day. And that's all he could talk about. I keep getting off track, I'm sorry. Jackson Dart's going to be the starter, blah, blah, blah. I'm a storyteller. I'm your Ole Miss bartender. I'm always serving, always driving a never-ending Ole Miss conversation. Or as a buddy of mine said recently, your job is a distraction. Now, old me probably would have been a little insulted. Maybe I would have reacted poorly to it. But you know what? Life with sports are my life's passions. Is my life's passion. I take pride in what I do. And God used sports, a distraction to most, as the vehicle to save me from myself, because I was a goner 2 years ago. So I'm thankful. I wasn't insulted. I'm thankful. Thankful for the perspective. Thankful for meeting cool people and traveling to cool places and have stories to tell. To sit at an Ole Miss basketball practice with John Stroud, one of the greatest players of Ole Miss's history, just watching ball. Thankful it took me to Clarksdale to watch Robert Candice, and arguably the most consequential recruit in Ole Miss history, play the saxophone at Morgan Freeman's bar. Again, it sounds like a mad lib, doesn't it, Ms. Thompson? Yeah? Maybe a final clue guess, you know? I tripped into a breaking national news story with that. Got on ESPN, all of that, because Rob wasn't going to be playing in the Sugar Bowl. He was turning pro. So what was I here to talk about, Ms. Jill? I finally have an answer. God's grace. Because this was my public profession of faith, one that He laid on my heart for months. I mean, it's been torture. Now I know how Wesley Carroll must have felt in the 2008 Egg Bowl. That's a deep cut. Parks gets that one. I don't have a church home, so this was my opportunity. And I'm thankful. I needed y'all in this more than y'all need a stupid old me, you know? I'm just a distraction, but you folks check out my website to read about the Rebels on your lunch break. You listen to my podcast when you're stuck in traffic on your ride home. That's the Ole Miss spirit, Mom. The Ole Miss spirit. An affiliate of On3.com. Yes, and y'all might think, why is he doing this? Publicly shaming his mother. She said, Bill, we speak at my little public, museum function? Sure, Mom. Who you write for again? It's been 15 years, you know? Ole Miss spirit, Mom. On Christmas Day during World War I, some Germans and Americans at one battlefield called a truce and played soccer. And when they were done, They went back to their lines peacefully and fought the next day. Sports are a beautiful distraction. I know the real visceral sting of pain because of Bryce Drew's shot. I sobbed like a baby, and I was 10. And I still don't know why Keith Carter was guarding the inbound. Just saved my life. On a full court inbound, some of you Ole Miss fans get it. Because my Ole Miss scars run deep, 4th and 25 still haunts, But it's perfect. I was up for an assistant editor gig with the Oxford Eagles straight out of Ole Miss. I'd never wanted anything more in my life. My buddy Patrick Oakes got it. In retrospect, he obviously deserved it. He had the experience laying out pages as the editor of the Daily Mississippian, and he's now the athletics director at Pearl River Community College because I'm getting old. But before I got that bad news call, I wasn't getting it. I remember I was rooted to a spot and staring blankly into a bathroom mirror in my parents' house, and I prayed, man. I really prayed. And I think he said something like, God, if I can just have an Ole Miss job for the rest of my life, I promise I won't complain ever again. I mean, I complained like 5 times up here, For me, it's the parable of the man who lived by the river. He hears a radio report. River's going to rush up and flood the town. All residents should evacuate their homes, but the man says, I'm religious. I pray. God loves me. God will save me. Then the water rose up. A guy in a rowboat comes along and shouts, hey, this town's flooding. Let me take you to safety. But the man says, hey, I'm religious. I pray. God loves me. God will save me. Helicopter eventually hovers overhead. Pilot has a megaphone and shouts, you down there? The town is flooding. Let me drop a ladder and take you to safety. But the man shouts back, I'm religious. I pray. God loves me and he will take me to safety. And then he drowned. And he's standing at the gates of St. Peter and demands an audience with God. And the man says, Lord, I'm a religious man. I pray. I thought you loved me. Why did this happen? And God says to the man, I sent you a radio report, a helicopter, and a guy in a rowboat. What the hell are you doing here? God sent me a perfect wife, a dream job, pursuing the only passion I've ever really cared about, and 2 healthy, beautiful children. So, Miss Jill, why the hell am I here today? To finally keep a promise. I'll take being your distraction. Where would I be right now without it? How else could I have run out the clock as the keynote speaker at the New Albany Heritage Museum, luncheon that my mother guilted me into? But maybe that's the point, because I've got it now. Whit Spencer isn't Wonder Bread. Whit Spencer is Happy Days. Nobody hates Happy Days. Happy Days always leaves you feeling good with a nice message to tuck the kids into bed with, which I guess makes me Seinfeld, the show famously about absolutely nothing. But you can't say you weren't entertained. I'm living the dream, and I didn't see it that way for a while. I used to resent it. And now I am thankful because it's enough. So if any of you hear me complain about my job ever again, parts, you have my permission to steal my cell phone number and put it on Craigslist. All right? Thank you. Stop playing the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving.
I love this young man, and I'm very proud of him. And I just want to say that I've had the opportunity to work with Jill, and I know that most of you in here know her. But this community, this county, is extraordinarily blessed to have somebody like Jill Smith. And I just would like you to show your appreciation. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill.